to the Working People's Pod on the Out of the Sand Trap Podcast Network. I'm Rock, spelled R-A-Q, pronounced R-O-C, and I'm here with...
I am the great Des Dillinger, and this is my wife on with me.
Hello, my name's Renee. Hope everyone's well.
Thank you for joining us, Renee. We're going to have part 2 of our relationship podcast. This topic is on marriage, and is it really till death do us part, or are there good reasons not to stick it out? But before we get into that, remember to like, share, and subscribe. We're on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcast. We're also on Patreon. We have a membership there. And you can also join us at outofthesandtrap.com for merch, blog, and other cool features. We're going to jump right into the mainstream news is a joke segment and start off with the security breach, which is, I think they're calling it Signal Gate.
I think I heard that.
That's happened Friday of last week and into this week. They've been talking about it all week because apparently this is a major deal. So some national security officials in the Trump administration decided to have a group chat, and
Yo, when they used to have meetings about this stuff?
Say it again?
When they used to have meetings in person about this type of stuff?
They should have meetings in person about this.
Not a group chat. That's technology.
And they also have other encrypted means that they can use without using a public, commercially available. But the problem with
finish telling the people for those that don't know what happened. Finish letting them know for those that don't know what happened.
So they added a journalist into this chat. A journalist by the name of Jeffrey Goldberg, and in the chat they had war plans. And Pete Hegseth, who is now the Secretary of Defense, totally unqualified Secretary of Defense, basically put in the chat, that they were going to bomb, Yemen?
Yeah.
And all the actions were in place, and they broke all types of protocol. All of this is top level, high security clearance stuff. Jeffrey Goldberg did inform the public that he was on this chat. And once they decided to call him a liar and say that he was making all this stuff up, he did release the text chain, and it did show that they violated all kinds of security clearance. So the biggest problem with this for me is that if he got it, it's a public app, it's a commercial app, everybody got it.
Yep.
Enemies, allies, everybody.
Also they could put on there. Like, they could have put Putin on there by accident.
If they put Putin on there, it probably wasn't an accident.
Good point.
But I believe he does have access to it, and I'm sure whatever, at least if not initially, whatever happened afterwards when it was exposed that this chat was out there, I'm sure they went back and grabbed whatever they could. I mean, being able to steal information, that's kind of what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, if they were so smart, they should have not been using this kind of technology in the first place,
right,
for this kind of information. There's a lot of agencies, federal and state agencies, where you have social media policy. Some agencies, they use their own version of like messaging throughout their departments, but it's only really for that particular agency. So for them to use such a public social media or messaging platform to even have that kind of information available worries me as a taxpayer, as a citizen. Like, what else are y'all putting out there that y'all really shouldn't be putting out there? Because this is how the enemy gets the information they need. I mean, well, they get it from people who talk a lot too, that got a vendetta, but
hell, you don't need spies no more. Y'all giving away the information.
That's true. They're definitely giving away the information. And the thing is, like, it not only affects us with the enemies, but our allies don't trust us anymore, because now they're wondering, what is the U.S. sharing with our enemies? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be trusted at this point. And they
Right.
literally have, they have means to communicate privately without,
Mhm.
exposing things to the public and using commercial apps. It was like the weirdest thing. I did hear, a couple of theories going around that maybe it was intentional, uh, either to trap
That's
trap
too
the
far.
journalists or, kind of like
Yeah, but then he's trying to discredit him too, calling him a loser. He's a liar. He's all this. He did that on his own.
Like
I'm
loser.
like, yo, just admit this
And
y'all fucked
homie
up.
had all the receipts.
all the receipts. He
Right.
had
Man, it
all.
just goes to support how juvenile and immature this damn administration is. This reminds me of like
Mhm.
when back in the day when niggas used to like writing notes in class like, yo, we about to jump this nigga at 3 at the school. Like you should not be discussing these international ass dealings over DMs. Like, bro, what?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
it doesn't surprise me because it's not like we know they're not the brightest. However, they are cunning. Like I do think they do things on purpose and they put things out in the public on purpose. This one might have been an unforced error, but I wouldn't put it
Mhm.
past them to try to use it for some other benefit though. Yeah,
That's the thing.
they suck.
One
They're
Yeah.
hundred
terrible.
percent. Like if nothing else, like we got to keep in mind that while the political stuff may be not in their, I guess that's not their strength, the media part is. Like they're
Exactly.
most of them are businessmen at the end of the day, so they
Exactly.
know how to spin the media and do the public opinion type thing,
Exactly. And it does
public
play into my
perception type
narrative
thing.
because
I'm sorry.
I do have a belief that Trump's goal for staying in office is to start a war. So and then they'll be able to
That's
suspend the
coming.
And
Constitution.
we're all the
And
pawns.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's coming.
yeah, it kind of looks like that's the way it's going. And I actually heard Malcolm Nance on a talk show earlier this week, and he ended his conversation by saying that the U.S. is actually going to war with Iran. He says that they already have sent B-2 bombers, a third of the B-2 bombers, over to Iran, and they only do that when they're preparing for war.
But
So
for what?
to suspend the
Nuclear?
Constitution,
Huh? What's
so
the
they
reason
can
behind
suspend
it?
the Constitution.
Now
Mhm.
they, I don't know. They just starting wars for no reason. I mean, pressure ain't even talking about nowadays. This is
Mhm.
like y'all have no general point to do nothing. Like y'all have anything is no rhyme or reason to anything that y'all do anymore.
I disagree.
Except for y'all feel like it.
I disagree. They have a total rhyme or reason. It's called Project 2025. Everything they're doing is literally in the manual. So, like, if they want to suspend
Mhm.
the Constitution so he can stay in office forever, that means we don't get the vote and all that stuff. So they control everything. So that's the reason for doing it. I mean, it's like you cause all this
Mhm.
chaos and these distractions to get all of the power. That's the ultimate goal, to
Right.
get the power. I mean, people die, and all that stuff happens. They don't care about that as long as it's not them. So,
Mhm. These are
yeah,
scary times we're living in for sure.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that did happen. In lighter but still political news, Jasmine Crockett kind of been on the hot seat.
That's my
No pun
girl.
intended, for calling Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas,
Just say that.
Governor
Yeah,
Hot
that was funny.
Wheels.
That was funny.
Hills.
Now,
That is
now,
hilarious.
if you have talked to anybody from Texas, been to Texas, know people from Texas, whatever, that's a common. They commonly call him that. Like he's a terrible person, regardless of disability or whatever. He's a terrible person. He's a
Mm,
horrible, horrible person.
yeah.
But in her speech, I guess she let that's what we call him. That's what she said. That's what we call him. And of course,
That-
everybody jumped on it. She went and explained, it wasn't about his wheelchair. It's about the way he's, conducting business
mhm.
in Texas. They're not gonna let it
Yep.
die. She's been enemy number one. Public enemy
Of
number
course.
one. Fox News
Yep.
and all of the, you know what I'm saying, all the
Yep.
conservative outlets. When are you going to? I actually saw a clip where a reporter was like, "Well, why didn't you apologize?" And she said, "I released a statement." And the lady just kept badgering, "Why didn't you apologize?" Well, that's not an apology. I released a statement. I shouldn't have to apologize. I released the statement. So it's like
Right.
they're gonna hone in on this thing. Um, and then I've heard chatter like, for her that was an unforced error. Like we can't afford to be doing things like that and blah blah blah. I don't know if I feel that way. You know,
And you know what? And I'm gonna say this. I follow Jasmine Crockett on Instagram. That's my girl.
same.
And whenever she does interviews, wherever, if she goes to the Breakfast Club, or I know Roland Martin has had a couple conversations with her. She just had an interview last weekend in her home state by their
Mhm.
local CBS station that I watched. Um, Jasmine Crockett is my age, and
Mm.
she's seen a lot, especially where she's at. And I'm pretty sure that when she's in DC, she sees a lot more bullshit.
Oh
And
yeah.
as a black woman who has to deal with um people who I don't know, I guess they were given the opportunity instead of earning the opportunity to actually be in positions that legislate for the people that they represent. When she calls them out, they get so pissed and it tickles me
Yep.
so bad.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
it's I don't so first of all, the Democrats is pissing me off anyway because of that state address that Trump gave. And Representative Green, they what is it? They sent him out for decorum. He didn't have proper decorum. I
Censure. Yeah.
personally feel like the Democrat, all of them should have got up and left.
Right.
Now they now they want to what is it, chastise her for her comment, but the girl always got quips. Y'all ain't say nothing before, now y'all got something to say. She's talking to the governor of the state that she represents, that she
Right.
pays taxes at,
Right.
and she was given a platform to be able to address all the things that she sees that is not benefiting the people in her district that she
Right.
represents. So to me, we got bigger fish to fry. She called him Governor Hot Wheels. Everybody else do. Go ahead. We got other things that we got. And you know how we are as black women, we will give somebody a nickname in a minute, especially if they getting on our last nerves. That
Right. Right.
because
Right.
that's the last thing we're gonna do before we feel like we gonna have to maybe get physical a little bit
Right.
or
Right. Right.
really go at it. But we just have bigger fish to fry. It's just like everything else, it dies down and
Yeah, but they don't
goes
want it to
away.
die down because they want to use it as a distraction.
Mm, well,
They
They
do.
want to
I
keep.
think my bigger problem is the people that I've heard that are actually on the Democratic side that are basically making a big deal out of it, like, again, saying it's an unforced error and we can't afford to do this. I feel like it's a whole segment of people, particularly working people that we
mhm,
represent, that want to hear plain spoken politicians that's going to not sit
mhm,
around and just keep spinning and spinning,
right,
but just say the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like we want to
right.
hear them say the thing. And right now, I think Democrats as a whole have a lower poll rating than Donald Trump, which is
Mhm,
crazy to me
But they
because
afraid.
even
mhm.
Democrats think that Democrats politicians are weak. But if
They
you know what I'm
showed
saying,
themselves.
yeah. So but every time you stand up, somebody, y'all jumping on somebody that stands up, you're gonna
Mhm,
continue to look weak, like you're caving. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
It's a
They're too
weird kind of
scared. They're petrified. They're running scared right now from
Yep.
the whole
right,
Republican Party. Like we don't want
And
to
it's
mess.
not,
Yeah,
the crazy thing is the Republicans have been saying crazy ass things about Democrats,
right,
and particularly black people in office, holding offices and things like that, and it was cool.
right,
So
Yep.
I'm not understanding why Hot Wheels, which one is fucking hilarious, is coming under such, like, to me. All right, we can let y'all rock with whatever y'all want to say, derogatory, disrespectful, whatever. If it's cool, if that's just fair game, then it's fair game. Then let me get Hot Wheels off. And
Right.
to
Right.
me, if it's funny, it's funny. Like you can't be mad because my shit was better than your shit.
Right.
Right.
If you can get me,
Now, and that's
if you
part
can
of the
get me in the
problem
media
too.
and then rock with it, then cool. Then let me get my shit off
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
That's
how I
part of
feel
the
about it. At
problem.
this
Is
point,
like
it's gonna be if
everybody's
it's just gonna be
scared.
tick for tack. Right. If it's gonna be tit for tat, we can just get our shit off in the media. Then let us just do that. Then if those are the rules, then those are the rules. But don't try to handcuff me after you were already trying to play me and call me out of my name, this or that. Remember when Kamala was
Mhm.
running? She was all types of names. They
Everything.
was calling her a hoe, bitches,
Yep.
all crazy shit. And
Yep.
fine, if that's what we're doing. Everybody's eyes was wide, and we were trying to see how everybody was going to react to it. Nobody really did too much, said too much about it. So then, okay, these are the new rules then. So now we can't get
Mhm.
mad when we calling homie Hot Wheels.
Right.
And that's still funny.
Like we can't get mad at that. Cause that's not even that. Like it's not even. It's not like he said something. They're saying she said something that's like totally out of out of left field. Just super hurtful. Bro, you're in a wheelchair. Like that's like you wear glasses. We was calling you Four Eyes. Bro, I mean you wear glasses, but we like what you gonna be mad for?
And she's not the first one to call him Governor Hot Wheels either. So it's like,
Right?
okay, here
And
y'all
they
go.
were saying, yeah, they were saying that was one of his nicknames. So now I just weaponize your nickname. Like now you can't even like when your homies call you that. Now you kind of mad still. like to me, that's just a
I've heard.
favorite way to
Right.
get somebody.
That's a whole lot worse than people.
Yep.
I've
That's
heard.
like double worse.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people. Remember when Michelle Obama was like, when they go low, we go high, and then as of a couple of years ago now, it's like, nah, they go low, we going to hell. Everybody want to fight, fight, fight. But then as soon as somebody fight, now we complaining. Well, she shouldn't have said that. That's
Mhm.
mean. He in a wheelchair. He was a horrible person before he got in that wheelchair. He became an even more horrible person after the wheelchair. It's not like the disability didn't make him horrible. He was
Mhm.
already horrible.
Like
But
the dude from
And
unfortunately,
I didn't agree with that. When they go low, we go high shit to begin with.
yeah, I ain't never believe that one.
I have always been a firm believer. You go low, I'm going to hell.
You
Fam,
sound
I'm
like
not
Eric
doing that.
Page.
I would have been on Malcolm X side back in the day, not Martin Luther King.
Yeah, I'm feeling you on that one. Like I'm pulling out a
Man,
shotgun. Like I ain't playing with
yeah,
you.
I was never turning the other cheek. I'm not turning the other cheek now. Eye for an eye out here.
Yeah, you could just
And to me,
it's
that's
a lot of
all.
people that
To me,
feel
that's
that
just
way.
all fun and games, fair game. The way I grew up, my family, my friends. Look, we bussing. So we buzzing, we buzzing. I'm not taking that super personally. I may not like you, and I mean, I may bust a little harder. So I mean, pause. But that's what it is.
Yeah, that's low.
All right.
I said pause, man. Sharp pause. Sharp pause.
Sharp
Low.
part. All right. So in other news, here's something I don't know if y'all heard about. So y'all remember Napster? Napster was like
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
the first music streaming platforms. Well,
Oh,
they
fun
actually
fact.
are still around, believe
Mhm.
it or not.
Oh, honey.
They're still around. So they just got bought by a VR company, a virtual reality company, who wants to
Mhm.
turn it into an immersive experience, right?
What do they mean by
That immersive experience where you basically you wearing a VR headset, it kind of puts you in the place or whatever,
Like
scene
a
that you have
concert?
set up. It could be a concert, could be
Oh, okay.
another planet, could be
Oh.
another planet. Um, the question is if so here's the thing. I've been working on a book for about 5 years, right? And this is the plot of it. I lie to you not. Are we going to end up in a situation where we're all just sitting around in VR headsets and just kind of basically stuck in a room and everything is being controlled for us? Because I feel like that's what they're trying to do, to be honest.
I
Like,
just seen movies about that.
Yes,
yeah, like this
I just
virtual
seen Black
reality
Mirror episodes
situation,
about that
like where it's
shit.
cool with games.
I haven't seen
Right, right. It's like, of
like
course,
you in shape, and then like in reality you like 300 pounds, 400 pounds sitting in the chair eating
all of that.
potatoes.
Yeah, all of that. It's like, are they gonna be feeding us, having us with feeding tubes and VR headsets on, and we just sit in a room
Mhm.
somewhere where all this other shit is going on outside, in the real world? Like, I'm a little bit concerned. Like, it seems like AI
Outside is the
and virtual
Matrix and shit.
reality, like, yeah, like it's taking over, like, and it's moving real fast. You know what I'm saying? It's not even,
Yeah.
they ain't even slow
Yeah,
walking it.
I think it goes back to like psychology and like because this sounds like this would take maybe 1 to 2 generations of what you're talking about, Raquel.
Seem like it.
That's how it is.
Exactly.
Um so I mean that is if people continue to want to not deal with reality, because that's all virtual reality is an escape from the real reality. I know it comes
Hmm.
off as like the fun stuff and doing this and that, but I don't know. I guess for some people it's an alternative to deal with what really needs to be dealt with. um
But it's
but
a setup
that
for
would
that, though. It's a setup because if you think about it, like, especially since the election, how many people have been like, "I'm tuning out. I'm not watching the news. I don't want to deal with none of this stuff." It's like they're putting us in a place where we really don't want to have to deal with reality, and then they're gonna
Mhm.
offer us, well, here's the virtual reality. It's more peaceful. It's more calm. It's more fun. Yeah,
Mhm.
you poor in real life, but in here you can be rich. So it's like
Yeah.
they're, and I don't even know that it'll take. I used to think it would take a few generations, but I'm starting to wonder with the speed
Mm.
of it if it's even gonna take that long.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I'm thinking
It's like,
about just what games were when I was 5 and what games are now. And
yeah,
yeah, that shit has
Yeah.
jumped leaps and bounds in just 30
Yeah,
years.
point blank.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy,
I've never tried virtual reality, so I wouldn't
man.
know what that's
They have a
like.
place here. It's called the immersive experience. So it's really a room. And you go in the
Hmm.
room with the VR headsets on, and it's just like, and it's different rooms. So it's in one room you're on Mars, one room you're in prehistoric times, another room you're somewhere else, and it's just
Mm.
like, yeah, you guys, like, I think if we are checked out from what's going on in the real world, it'll be a whole lot
Hmm.
easier to get us to sign up for some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah, I better stay woke.
Yeah.
So I gotta stay woke.
I don't know if I would even try virtual reality. I would be
You would. Because it's going to depend on how it's presented to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't going to present it like, yeah, we're going to control your whole life if you put this headset on. Nah, they're going to be like, play this
mm,
fun game. Hey, wouldn't you like
mm,
to go shopping without actually having to go to the store? Stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it
that's
sounds
It,
like
how.
they
That's really how
just
it's versatile.
have.
Because yes, for some people it's gonna be, hey, play this video game. For some people it's gonna be just like
mm-hmm.
you said, hey, you can shop right here. It's like you walking through the
Yep.
store,
Mm,
pick whatever you want, put it in your cart. So for the shopping heads, the retail therapy people, that's how they're gonna get them. For the video game
Yep.
heads, that's how they're gonna get them. And I mean, it's just
Yep.
mm,
different ways to do it, and that's already
Yeah, it's
happening,
crazy.
literally like that.
It really
mm-hmm.
is. Yeah, it's,
Yep.
it's they definitely moving us into it. Yep. So, in some now here's some lighter news. Let's say.
Lighter.
So, yeah, some lighter. Like back in Black History Month last month, I think that was the last Black History Month ever. Um,
Hmm. It's open.
Trump had some black folk over to the White House, and one of them was Tiger Woods. A
No,
couple
no
weeks ago,
Tiger.
couple weeks ago, good old Tiger Combination Tiger. He professed that he was in a relationship with none other than Vanessa Trump, who is the ex-wife of Don Jr.
Mm.
Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but Tiger Woods does have a type.
White women.
Yeah,
Not just white. I
absolutely.
mean, they all look alike. They're literally all
Blonde
blonde.
hair, bitch, yes, they're
Yeah,
white women.
yeah, they all look alike. He has a type.
Yep.
So he's moved on to the
Yeah,
to a to a
he like
Trump.
the white, like Swedish looking women.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he liked that Swedish look.
Wasn't his last wife Swedish
Yeah.
or Norwegian?
Yep.
Probably.
She was actually Swedish.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one I
I'm
think
from
that
Sweden.
bust him in the head with the golf club that took him out of golf for a while.
I don't know how they do in Sweden, but that's some real shit. That's some
That was
black
the
shit
one.
right
Yeah, that
there.
was the one that he was with when he like locked her out the crib or some shit.
Yeah.
She bust. She bust.
No. That's a different one. No, that one came after this one.
Oh
I
wait, so
think the
Nah,
that's
one
the
he
first
one he
he
locked
was
out
bust
with
the
her.
crib.
when he was fucking all the porn stars, and he got calling all the
Yeah,
voicemails.
that's
Hey,
the
this is
one.
Tiger.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Hey,
he
my
busting
wife's
all the
gonna be
damn
calling
windows.
you
Black
soon.
chick.
Yeah. The one he locked out, I think she came after, because so after the wife, he started dating a skier, Lindsay somebody, who also looks the same. And then after her, it was the woman that he locked out, basically sent her on a trip and locked the doors. Put her,
Oh, shit, I heard about that.
Dang.
Tiger
And the
was
shit ain't
wilding.
gonna hold my.
yeah,
Tiger
yeah. I
was
think she
wilding.
tried to sue him or something. Yeah, 'cause, she thought they was together forever. But he put on the trip
Mm.
Yeah,
and
she
was like,
did. She did try to sue him. Actually, I don't even know what
yeah,
happened with that. I need to find out
I
though.
know. You got to follow up
I
on
want to know if she
what's going
won.
on. I'm
What she
sure he
won?
paid her off.
Yeah, probably. Shout out to
I'm sure
Tiger.
he paid. I'm sure it didn't even
Anyway,
go to trial. 9 times out of 10, he just paid her off. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So yeah, Tiger is
But
like he's
continue.
always been kind
Fucking
of
another one.
yeah, he's always been kind of sketchy when it comes to us anyway. But so now he's all
Mhm.
in on the Trump situation because apparently they don't mind that he's dating the ex-wife of Don Jr. I guess that's the thing they do. You know, I
See,
don't.
Because the
Yeah,
golfers,
that
Trump
shit.
and golfers,
That shit like an episode of Friends.
it's weird.
but he's
It is
black, so
weird.
I don't know. Trump may hate his golf. He love his golfing, but that he's black, so it's like
He
he's in
ain't black.
between.
He's
He ain't
cobbling
black.
Asian.
He what?
He's
He's
cobbling Asian.
he's he's Blasian.
Oh, I've never heard that phrase.
Wait, what you call him, Raquel?
He said he cobbling Asian,
The fuck is that?
Caucasian, black, and Asian.
But he ain't
But
got no white in him.
his daddy was black and his mom is Asian.
He got white in him. I thought he's just black
No,
and Asian.
he is.
No. He said cop. No. He says there is white in him. He said it was I want to say it's Swedish. That he said
Oh,
he's part Swedish, part black, part Asian, and
who?
yeah, Swedish.
That was a black ass nigga.
Tiger.
Yeah. Notice he put the Caucasian first, and that's probably the smallest part.
Yeah. He said, I'm gonna claim them
Of
first.
course.
Exactly.
Let's not forget,
Y'all haven't
guys.
even used that money.
Right. I don't even know if the money would have mattered. Like he sounded like he probably would have just been like that regardless. The money
Yeah.
helps.
Mm.
The money definitely
Money
helps.
helps,
Mm.
gives you access.
Mm.
It lets you in them
All
country
right,
clubs.
and then hey, listen, at the country club ain't nobody in there but that. So, you know. You
Yeah,
gonna find a lot of
exactly.
sisters at the
That's why the
golf
money
clubs.
help.
Not a lot. So
Uh huh.
right.
I worked
I
at one of
guess
them joints. It was all white.
Yeah, I was about to say my mama cooked that one, but she
man,
ain't had
listen.
no.
It was all white. I ain't see one dark skinned white person. Like you couldn't even have a tan again in this motherfucker.
Well, I guess you gotta pick where the harvest is plentiful.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I think that's it for mainstream news as a joke. It's been pretty much a joke. It gets worse every day. So,
Mm.
that's what it is. I do have a want to start a new segment with you guys though. Yeah, we want to start a new segment with you guys called it's the FIFO segment. It's the F around and find out segment. So
Mm.
we're gonna be playing a little bit of some Trump supporters who found out. So hopefully y'all can see this. If it don't play, we'll just put it in afterwards. But let's try it out and see what happens.
Higgett was abruptly
Yo,
fired
wait,
last
wait,
week when the
wait, wait,
Treasury Department's
wait.
Payroll
And
Taxes
The
Service
the intro for
issued
Good.
a
this segment
partnership
gotta be
with West
the
Virginia.
we
The
will
reason
vote
given for the
for
firings
Donald
of
Trump.
125 probationary employees at the Bureau? Poor performance.
I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do. To cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. I expected more from President Donald
Doesn't
Trump.
make
Since
sense.
Why?
speaking out, Piggott says she's received death threats and her home has been egged.
Mm.
This woman asked us not to show her face for fear of retribution. She recently retired from the Bureau of Fiscal Service because she was afraid of losing her health insurance if she was fired. She also voted for Trump. Would you still have supported him?
I'm not sure that I would have. The way that it's been done, I'm for balancing the budget, that type of thing, but not in this.
Not losing my job.
It's just not right.
That's what's up. It's right. That's what you deserve.
So
Fuck
it's
around
so, what's crazy is that she said, I'm not sure that I would have voted for him. But the craziest part about it is everything that's happened, he literally said was going to happen. It's like, y'all hear what y'all want to hear, right?
Right.
Like, this is not new to us because we knew this was coming. But y'all thought, oh, he just going to deport the brown people and, yeah, he going to cut the budget, but it won't affect me. He's shutting down the whole government.
Now you
Right.
ask, now you
Everybody
ask
get fired. You work for the
Now you
government.
ask him all day.
You at home. Yeah.
Mad.
That
You ain't got no
man,
shit
I
coming
mean,
in.
right. That man cares for no one but himself and his self-interest, and that's it.
that's it.
And
That's
the
that's
fact
all.
that this country did not see that prior to electing him into the highest office of the land says a lot about us as a country. The world hates us because we allowed this man to get into office. So
They should have left Sleepy Joe the fuck
gotta
alone.
suck it up.
They should have did what?
They should have left Sleepy Joe alone. He wasn't fucking with nobody. He wasn't getting into all this bullshit. He was just chilling.
Right.
I'm gonna say this
Taking
about
his
Sleepy
naps.
Joe.
Taking his naps on appropriate
And
time.
this is where this is going back to the previous conversation that we had about the Democrats and Jasmine Crockett. They had the opportunity to have this conversation with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris about his mental health, his physical health. Hell, he had the opportunity, but the Dems knew what they were up against. Trump started campaigning after he lost the last election. So he had been, doing what he needed to do. That's how he was able to get so much momentum the way that he did, because he had been doing it. I feel like if the Democrats would have gave themselves a year and said, listen, we're going to put Kamala on this ticket. We only gave her what, 3-4 months?
3 months.
I mean, she ran the best race she could with what she had in the time that she had, but it just wasn't enough. But I blame the Democrats, and I'm a card carrying Democratic.
No, I blame
Democrat.
No, you know who we should blame? And if nobody want to admit to this, and nobody want to see it, we should blame goddamn George Clooney.
No, I agree with that.
This shit ain't pop. Because, no, everybody ain't jump on board until Clooney said he ain't the same Joe that he used to be. After that, it went downhill. Fuck George Clooney. I will never watch another one of his movies. If he made Ocean 15, I will not watch that bitch. He fucked it up for everybody.
I ain't going to be able to watch reruns of ER?
Fuck ER.
Damn.
I ain't even watch the old episodes of motherfucking Facts of Life no more because he was on that shit.
That's right. He was on Facts of Life. This is true. But you're right though, because he represents the donor class, right? The people with the money. And then when he came out, the other ones they felt free to come out with it as well. And honestly, I'm gonna just put this to the side. I don't buy the whole Joe got dementia shit. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I know that's the narrative being put out there, and I know he had a bad performance. Listening to Joe Biden talk has always been a problem because he always stuttered. He stuttered as a young man. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, I'm not buying the narrative because that's the narrative that Trump started. That is something wrong with Joe. And the problem I find with the problem I find with the Democrats is that Trump says something and they run with it like it's true. Like Why y'all letting him frame the narrative? You know what I'm saying? Like that man was smart enough to at least get some smart people around him. So even if he got to go to bed at 8 o'clock, shit getting done and taken care of the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trump ass is running around here crumbling before us,
Yes.
literally. If y'all not paying attention, pay attention.
All it was is because he wasn't quick as he used to be. The motherfucker's 80. What do you let an 80-year-old man really do anymore? You give him pudding, but he wasn't fucking up shit. Right. I mean, seriously, that's what you do with 80-year-old men. You give them pudding. You don't really let them do big shit. But unless they fuck it up, you don't put them out the pasture. And George Clooney had one conversation
I don't
with
even
him.
think he.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
Nah, it's like George Clooney had one meeting with him, and then said, "Oh, he ain't the same dude no more." So everybody else gonna say, "Yeah, we right." Because he's old. How you want an 80-year-old to act like a motherfucking 60-year-old?
Right.
Of course he's a little bit slower. Shit, I'm slower than when I was 10 years ago. Everybody want to be at the same speed they always been. No, as you get older, you slow down.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I can't wait for George Clooney get old and some bullshit happens to him and he fuck up and he loses his wife, loses his kids. No,
Wow.
fuck George Clooney. He'll fuck the world up. And nobody gonna put shit on George Clooney. He'll fuck the world up. Literally, he got us going to war now. And what are you doing?
We might need to change the title of this episode to "Fuck George Clooney."
Fuck George Clooney.
That might do it. But nah, I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. Like he definitely got the ball rolling with that letter. Like he could have. You got access to him. You could have had private conversations, but you decided to make it public. So yeah, it was a setup. And to be honest, I don't think Kamala would have won because the country is what the country is. I don't care if she had 4 years, 3 years, a month, 2 months. It wouldn't have mattered because this country is what it is. You know, our media is complicit because they've been giving Trump this microphone for over 10 years now. You know what I'm saying? And then every time he says something, they act like it's the truth when y'all know the dude lie.
Right.
Like he lies. But every time he says something, all of a sudden that becomes the narrative. You know what I'm saying? And he calls Biden Sleepy Joe. Now all of a sudden he's Sleepy Joe. Wait, Joe's still out there bicycling and jogging and doing push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Eating ice cream and driving in his Corvette. Like, y'all leave Joe alone.
Don't need this bullshit no more.
Right. Yeah, I think he was like, "Oh, y'all want me to go? Oh, okay."
Watch what happens.
Like I'm out.
Watch this shit.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm gonna let Kamala run that thing. She couldn't win it, and
that's what it is.
I'm back to my original point. And my original point will always be until the day that I job. Fuck George Clooney. And I'm gonna stick with that one because Joe was doing a hell of a job.
He really was.
Everybody was working. I don't know about the budget.
You was around for Demi Moore, but gonna say fuck George Clooney.
What?
He was around for Demi Moore, but gonna say fuck George Clooney.
You should, yeah.
All right, man. All right. All right. That's a side note. It's off topic, but we can move on. Nah, I'm with you though. Like I feel like all them that voted for Trump. It's like when you tell your kids like, yo, don't climb up there, you're gonna fall, dog. Hey, don't not you gonna fall, and then they bust their ass, start crying. You like, yo, didn't I tell you was gonna fall? Didn't I tell you was gonna fall? And then they act like they surprised that they bust their ass.
Right.
Now all these white people surprised they bust their ass. Oh, they sitting home trying to count quarters in the couch.
Yep.
Filing for unemployment. Filing for unemployment that's about to get shut down too.
Yeah, that part.
They're gonna lose their houses. They're gonna lose everything they had.
Yeah, they handle it though differently too, because that privilege kind of insulated them from from the struggle. So when the struggle comes, you know, they don't adapt very well. So you know, lots of prayers.
And they not even doing it like they not even thugging it out. Like they being some bitches about it. Like they writing the president letters.
Like Charlotte
they writing the president letters and shit, talking about, hey, Mr. President, I voted for you both times, and I had my job for 10 years, and I just don't understand why I had to go. Like, dog, nah. Sit down. Sit down. Go on Indeed.
Yep.
fill out your shit. Like, nah, don't start crying on Instagram, nigga. Nah. You gotta try to hear that
Mhm.
shit now.
Right.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
you ain't even got no marketable skills, nigga. You got fired at 56.
Mm.
You about to find no new job, nigga.
Damn.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's our F around and find out segment. They finding out daily. So we will have
Yep.
this segment because every week somebody gonna find out. Somebody gonna find out. All right, let's get to our main topic. It is the part 2 of our relationship series, marriage. Is it till death do us part, or is it till I can get up out of here?
Well, that was part.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah, and
But
that
why?
was part.
But
What do
why?
you want? Huh?
But why?
Why do I feel that way?
Yes. No, it's a
Oh,
podcast. We talking.
I'm gonna be very blunt about it. Me, I didn't believe in marriage.
Okay.
I was opposed to it because I'm like, oh, people walk away anytime they want. People cheat when they want. Do what they want. But she was like, she wanted to get married. It made her happy. So I'm like, I agreed to it. But then was up me in some shit, and then try to leave me.
Wow. I'm offended. What about you,
Oh,
Renee? Yeah, it's like it's like you sound like you said talk you into.
yeah.
You went to. So when Desmond and I met, he did tell me that he did not want to be married. And I'm like, okay, cool. But we had no kids. We had no, you know what I'm saying? We were just us. But as life started changing and we created a family, yes, we are going to talk about this because we need to cover ourselves.
Right.
We need to protect ourselves and our children. So for me, I feel like with marriage, and you must know this, that it is till death do us part. My grandparents were married for 35 years before my grandfather passed away. And my grandmother was a widow and she never remarried. That was her choice. That was her right. But she stayed with him. She took care of him and his children, and she reaped the reward. My grandmother passed away in her own house. She ain't have to go nowhere. She ain't have to stay nowhere. She had her own. So as long as the marriage is set up that way to be successful, if one spouse leaves and the other spouse can maintain and take care of the family, then absolutely. But there are times where that's not possible. You got a lot of domestic violence situations where men and women are in danger, their children are in danger, and now this is off the table. The counseling and everything like that they offer. I mean, I don't know. I don't know too many marriages where domestic violence was an issue, where the couple got back together and worked it out. I only really seen divorce and separation in those situations because either one or both parties weren't willing to go through what they needed to go through to come back together to be able to treat each other the way that they needed to treat each other. So in cases like that, hell no, ain't no death till death do us part.
But actually, shit. In them cases, shit. Somebody dying in them.
Well, yeah, but this is my thing.
Damn.
Sometimes that's a danger. Right. Now, what did you say?
Wow.
I just said damn.
Oh,
Wait.
Wait.
So
So
there are
Mrs.
some people,
Dillinger,
but
where?
there are
Hold
some
on, hold
people
on,
that
hold on.
feel like,
Let me. Oh, go
hold on,
ahead,
bro.
go ahead, go ahead.
I'm the host.
Do your thing.
Listen. I got a
Nah, no, I
question.
had a question. Go ahead.
I got a question too. So you
Facts. Go
said
ahead. Do you
in
think?
cases of domestic violence, though. So I know some people who think that's not even a reason for divorce.
Right.
So, but that's
Yeah.
not the case.
That's that old school mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a
Maybe.
question.
Like when you walk in the house and punch your wife in the face for no reason because you had a bad day at work and she go cook and get dinner.
And for some men and for some women, that's what if that's what they choose. I'm not going to stay if I'm constantly getting my ass whipped every day.
I agree to that.
I'm not. But you do have some women who, you know what I'm saying, they endure it because they believe till death do us part. Like, oh, I guess, well, you dying at his hands then. I guess that's how you going out. Oh, okay.
I mean, I agree with the part. Look, now you ain't gonna look. That's a reason to leave me, but you ain't gonna leave me because I left my socks on the floor. Like that's some other shit. Like, oh, you don't cook enough.
That's a
You don't
that's a
clean
complete
enough.
other extreme.
I'm just saying. Like, I just don't like you no more. No, that ain't a good ass reason. You gotta go.
And there's
All right,
other
wait. So can we back up like way back to the beginning of your statements? So you said when y'all first started dating, he said he didn't want to get married, and you said
Mhm.
okay, cool. And then you said y'all started having kids, and then said okay, we have to talk about this. But why did y'all have to talk about it again? If y'all both were in agreement that he didn't want to get married and you were cool with it,
I didn't say that I was in agreement with him
no, but
not
you
wanting
said
to get
you
married.
said you said that he said he didn't want to get married, and
He
you said
told
okay,
me
cool,
that he never wanted to get married.
right? And
Your
you said
uncle
okay,
told
cool,
me that what he wanted to do, and this is before kids, this is when we were in college. He said he just wanted to be the cool uncle, okay? Because he got so
oh,
many
so he
nieces
never
and
wanted to have kids either.
wait, right.
Oh, okay,
That's what
all
he
right, I
said
got
out
you,
his mouth,
I
but
got
the
you,
rest of
I
his
got you.
body didn't follow.
No,
So,
I understood,
there's
understood.
that.
Because in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, so if I tell you I don't want to get married, that don't matter. That doesn't mean we have kids. Then now I might want to get married because even if we have kids, I still don't want to get married. But if he said he didn't want to have kids either, and now we have kids, yeah, then shit changed, fam. We we gonna have to have another talk. But I
Right.
got
Yeah, no, that's what he told me at first. But see, people say one thing and then do another, and that
agreed.
changes the narrative of the story.
When they're young, I mean, they got
Right.
together whatever. Y'all still teenagers, right? Y'all still like 18,
Mhm.
19?
No,
Well, I was at the tender age of 19.
Yeah, see.
Okay,
Yeah,
20.
they're still young. Obviously, things are going to change over time. You would think.
Yeah, right. And like I said, we didn't know that we were going to be together the way that we were going to be together. We didn't know. I mean, it was, I don't want to say organic. We just didn't plan anything.
Right.
So as life was going and we were doing that, we had to have this conversation. I know you said that you don't want to get married, but brother, you got like a household right here. Like,
Yeah, facts.
there's tax implications and things of that nature that we need to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it took some years, but we ended up getting married. But I just think it's certain situations where, people they start off as intentional about it, about, getting married, saying those vows and, go on and live life. It's just that when life starts lifing and, how the couple's going to weather those storms, how they're going to, go about, working through some things. But that domestic violence, no. The sexual assault, hell no. I don't care if you're married. That does not give anybody the right to take somebody, if it's not consent,
trust
whether
me, she
you're
believes that,
married or not.
and she truly believes that.
Because trust me. But that doesn't shield
That
anybody
was
from doing that, because that's violating somebody, But um yeah, anything else, I mean, like Dustman said, I ain't gonna leave that nigga because he keep leaving his socks on the floor. I'm just gonna, cuss him out for 10 minutes and then go about my day. But I go drop some divorce papers. But I think
But
it depends on a couple.
but people have got divorced over socks on the floor.
Mm.
Like you ain't cleaned up enough, or you left dishes
But
in the sink. People get married and say, and nowadays people treat it like it ain't nothing. It don't mean nothing because we can end it quickly.
all I say is pick up your own goddamn socks. Why I got to keep picking up your socks? It doesn't have to
Well,
be.
If I'm
I
busy,
think I think we all know people who have been married and stayed married, people who have been married, divorced, and people who have been
Mhm.
married, divorced, and remarried. Like,
Mhm.
what's the so till the death do us part thing? Does that mean, if say or I'm a widow, does that mean I don't marry again? Or
you have an option.
Yeah,
If you
that's
fall in love again, anything's open for like. I
mhm.
Death,
mean,
death did
you
y'all
have
part.
that option. She doesn't.
Yeah, death did y'all part.
What you mean I don't have that option? If
well,
Oh,
you
I
bless you.
wow. Now I was brought it up because she was talking about her grandmother. Was her grandfather passed, that her grandmother, stayed single or whatever. So
Mhm.
that's what I was saying. Like some people believe like you're only supposed to have one spouse,
Yeah,
your whole
Oh
life.
that's
wait,
just
so
I
you
a
do believe that,
tradition too.
Renee?
Wait, what you say?
You do believe that? Like you shouldn't get remarried if your spouse dies?
So she's believed
No,
it.
I don't believe that. I said that's what my
No, I'm
grandmother
asking.
did.
Oh no, I heard you say yeah, so I was asking if you believed it as
Oh,
well.
no, I don't believe it. With my grandmother, I mean, that was her choice to be single. I don't know if she was seeking to be married. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm gonna knock on some wood. If I should become a widow, I don't think I have the strength or tenacity to be a wife again. It's hard work and it requires a lot. And if I'm assuming I will be older than what I am now, and I just don't have it because I would have gave it all to him.
What
Um
about dating?
Dating now, dating scares me. I know. I mean, I date your uncle. We still go on dates, but going out there, um, I heard some horror
Out in
stories.
the
Man, but look
world,
at her eyes, man.
Yeah,
She scared.
that's
between the
fear.
dating apps
Should have
and the
seen, should have heard some
catfishing,
things.
Right.
I've heard some things, and I would have to get like a criminal background report on people before I go meet somebody for coffee. Because it's like, I don't know if it's the social media thing, and people just don't know how to be sociable anymore. But I don't know. I don't know if I would have just the strength
So this
to
is
do.
a series. So uh, I do want to talk about the domestic violence part of relationships in a different episode, and also the dating part of relationships in another episode. But I'm glad we touched on it. But
And
I'm
Rock, we can't let you slide either.
hold on. I'm
Share
not
your
even done. Let
thoughts,
me. Can I make my transition?
Finish.
Because I see what
please.
you're doing.
No, don't trans.
Nah,
That's what
I
I'm
see
saying.
what you're
Don't
doing.
transition away. Don't
Say this.
transition away because you're trying to hide your thoughts.
Not really.
Not share your thoughts.
Well, that's different. But I'm not hiding it.
Exactly.
So what I was gonna say was, um, I have a sibling. We have a sibling who told me they were married 3 times, and told me that if they were to get a divorce, they would marry again because they want to be married. So
Okay.
how about the multiple marriages? Like, like you said, like if you know y'all been together for a long time, so it would be really hard to kind of get into a whole nother marriage because you got like a 20 years of history or whatever with one
Mhm.
person. But what if you only got 5 years of history with with that person? Like, is it
Yeah.
easier to jump back into something else, or
I have no idea. Look, I got plans. Something happened to her. I'm shrinking for the rest of my life. I'm not doing
You
it.
told me that. You spend your money how you gonna spend your
I'm gonna
money.
spend that insurance money.
No, Lord. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say this. There are some people who want to be married. They just want to be married. It doesn't matter how many times they've been married. There's somebody in my family who's been married a couple times too.
Mhm.
And often wonder, I, the, all different people, types of people that this family member has married. And I often wonder, like, what is it like about that person that told you, oh, you're the one, but I
Mm-hmm.
had the one 2 times before that.
Right,
Like,
right.
People always want to jump into being married.
and it could be because they trying to file their taxes married jointly. I don't know. You do get a little bit of money.
I mean,
Um,
I guess that's some reason.
But y'all said people change too. So the
right.
one
People
when I'm
change.
20 might not be the one when I'm 37.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not be the one no more when I'm 50.
And that's true. So the death do us part for some, it's when it's not working anymore. That's the death. It's just not working anymore. And that's okay. That's fine. It's okay to walk away. I'd rather people walk away than stay in something that's not serving them, or
That's
they're
not
not
the
serving.
death, though. The
I
death is
think it
literally death.
I mean, well, I'll say if you are in a relationship and or a marriage, and you're really trying to hold it together, and you and your partner have done everything you can to stay together, but it's just not working out, then it's time to go. It's just time to go.
That's different
And
That's
then.
not the death.
it
That's
can't
not the
get
death.
that. I
That's
We
different.
have a friend who divorced, and she said like she was grieving.
Feeling like and actually grieving, no. Ooh.
Be back in a second.
Feeling like and grieving are not the same thing.
It's not.
So yeah, it sounds like it's a lot of gray areas she's trying to use to make it
Yeah,
sound like it's her death do his part, but it's not actually death do his part in that
exactly.
sense.
And
Okay.
things not working out is not death. Death is death.
Right.
Somebody died.
And honestly, even if we put in the domestic violence part in there, that's not death do his part.
And that was my
Mm,
reason for asking about that, because that's not death either unless somebody got killed in it, which
Yeah, death do
has
his part
happened.
is black, literally black and white. It's we one of us has to die
mm,
or not.
Yeah, so can it be that
And
black and white?
no.
so I mean, for
So
me,
y'all disagree
for
then.
me, for me, I wouldn't even
Yeah,
take it
we
that far. I
disagree.
don't even have to say domestic violence. Like I don't believe that at all. And I'm with Renee in the sense of like if it's not working, it's not working.
Mhm,
Like I don't think you should stay with anybody just because we're married and till death do us part.
mhm.
Like if we're miserable, we shouldn't be
Right.
together, and you should not live your life being miserable with anybody. Like
But it's time.
to if we're working to fix it, that's one thing. I believe that as long as you're both working to fix the relationship, then there's not a what the hell is that?
Dogs?
Oh, yeah. If we're working to fix it, then I don't think there's a end. You know what I mean? There's not a deadline or a
Mhm,
point to stop because
I
as
mhm.
long as y'all
agree with
trying,
that.
y'all
I
trying.
agree with that.
But
Other people.
but if you feel like you're trying and you're not getting, or one of y'all is trying, or neither one of y'all are really trying, y'all are just
Right.
existing. Yeah, then if y'all are miserable, then yeah, it's time y'all can walk away. And I don't think there's any shame in that.
Mm-mm. I agree. I agree with that part.
'Cause like I said, people like we always said, people change, people grow apart,
Mhm.
and it has to be intentional to grow together
Right.
for real. Like you're not necessarily gonna grow together just because y'all live together.
Mhm.
You can be with. I mean, you can have siblings y'all grew up with, and then not even be close
Mhm.
when y'all get to be adults because y'all didn't grow together.
Right.
Y'all grew apart.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's an intentional thing. And once it stops being intentional, or you stop caring,
Mhm.
or you stop being happy, or stop feeling like you want to be happy with this person, then it's time to move on.
I think that word that is the key, intentional. Like I
Mhm.
think
Right.
it literally has to be
Right.
this is what we are planning to do, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to work on it, these are the steps we're going to take if something should kind of get off, kilter or whatever. Like everything has to be done with intention.
Yep.
It can't be we just gonna float, but
Mhm.
let it flow and see what happens, and like that I don't think would would make for a long, healthy marriage. Now,
Mhm.
even though people do stay married that are in really unhealthy marriages and are miserable, and they stay,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
whatever reason.
and stuff, bad stuff can happen, and you can make it through it.
Right.
Right.
And
Yes.
again, but I don't necessarily blame the people that bad stuff happens in there, and you decide, oh, I can't deal with that, I gotta go.
Mm.
But and
Yeah.
there's some people that have the threshold to be able to handle and say, look, let's try, and then you try, and then you can make it on the other side.
Right.
I do think everybody couples should have non-negotiables. Like there should
Mhm.
be you should have some boundaries when it comes to your relationship, and there should be some things where you like, I can't deal with,
Right.
and
I
that should
True.
be
agree.
made known up front.
You got to make
Whatever that
it
is for you.
front.
I'm sure that changes for everybody, but I
Mm.
do think those things should be in there.
Yes.
True.
Conversations you should
And
have.
I, and I also think that sometimes you don't know what your non-negotiables are until you go through that situation. And like, if you ask me something right now, I could probably say, oh, nah, I ain't dealing with that shit.
Mhm.
But once that situation happens, I could be like, no, I do care about, or I do love this person this much to be able to try.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not end up being a non-negotiable, and it could end up being one of our a part of our testimony.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? When we're married for 60 years or some shit like that.
Mhm.
Or we could have gotten divorced the next week, because fuck that. So I mean, I agree.
Mhm.
I've heard Dante Nero, ex-stripper and comedian, say that if you let a person slide on the non-negotiable, then they're always going to slide on whatever
Mhm.
it is. So it's going to be a slippery slope, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my boy.
I mean, there are some things where now maybe this just me. I've been single a long time, so I already know what I'm willing to deal with, what I'm not willing to deal with.
Mhm.
So because I've been single for a long time, I know that I'm okay being single if I'm single.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say there are some things I'm not willing to deal with. There's some things I've seen other people go through that I can say I'm not willing to deal with. So there are a couple of things that are non-negotiable for me.
Yeah.
Period.
And you should hold to that too, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you got to be happy with you. Like,
Yeah, like if your husband cheats on you, just your random husband cheats on you, and then but you okay with it? Not okay with it,
mhm,
but you're like, okay, I can work it out. Does that? And this is a question. This is not a statement.
mhm.
Does that put him in a position where he's like, well, I got away with it once, or does that put him in and I know it probably depends on the type of person it
Yeah,
is,
it depends
or
on
does
the
that put him in a
That's key.
position where where yeah, like, or does it put him in a position where he's like, because I was forgiven, I'm going to do better. You know what I'm saying? And I know it
Yeah,
depends on
that depends. That's literally the answer. It depends on
yeah,
the
yeah.
person.
It's
depends on the
multiple.
It could
Now
go
person.
either
that's
way.
an individual thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it depends.
But that's on any level of anything that you do that somebody doesn't like and they call you out on it. It's like, well, she let me get away with it. So like if you say punch your wife in the face, and that's a slippery slope. Is that guy like, I will never do that again? I swear to God. Both of them gonna say that, but is that individual like, yo, I can't never do this again? But is that one individual? Is another a whole lot of people that be like, well, she let me do it once. I'm gonna keep beating this bitch.
So that means that
See that?
patterns
Oh, sorry. Go
matter.
ahead,
Like, that's how, I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but it could be a little innocent incident that happens like that. But then it's not so innocent a couple days later or a couple weeks later. Or
Right.
there's cheating involved, infidelity involved, and the other spouse finds out, and both parties are willing to work it out, but there's a pattern with this infidelity. That's where that question, till death do us part, comes in. See, we have routines and patterns that we do, and a lot of it is behavior that we don't even know that we're doing, or we don't think is bad, or hurting someone, until somebody calls you out on it. And even after they call you out on it, you continue to do it. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
So there is a difference. If it's someone, they just got caught up in heat of the moment and something transpired from it, but it wasn't supposed to get like that. Hopefully they would be able to, speak with their spouse and let them know, like, hey, this was just a one-time thing. This wasn't supposed to happen. Of course, it's going to be a lot of guilt and things like that, but it's going to change the dynamic of the relationship. So, there, that's where it, like nephew was saying, people show you who they are through their actions. And that reinforces, those non-negotiables too. So I just feel like it really depends on a person and the behavior that they're showing. If they want it, it's time to go.
See, domestic violence, or yeah, I get domestic violence. I feel a little differently about that. Like as far as like when we were talking about the cheating thing, it's like, all right, yeah, well, you can forgive me, we can move on, I can stop, or I can decide, oh, well, she forgave me, I'm gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
doing it. You know, I feel like that can go either way depending on the person. When it comes to domestic violence, and I could be wrong, this is just what I believe. I think I've always believed this. I feel like once you specifically a man hitting a woman, I've always believed that if you hit a woman once, it's way easier to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that's a temper issue, and then that's a big line to cross in the first place.
Right.
Um, like because we're not just punching niggas on a daily basis.
Right.
Like just
Unless
anybody
you're a
that
boxer.
pisses us off, right? Anybody
Right.
that just pisses us off, and we get mad at a lot of people just thinking out throughout
Mhm.
the week how many people just piss us off, and we're not just hitting them
Right.
niggas. So if we hit our girl because she gets us to that point where we get mad under the punch her in the face. All right, that's a monkey off of your back
Mm-hmm.
to the point where now when you get mad and she forgave you for one, but now you get mad and that becomes kind of just your outlet, and it's easier to do that, or at the very least is you have to restrain yourself a little more, work a
Mm-hmm.
little harder to not punch her in the
Right.
face. Right. So I feel like, yeah, when it comes to that, I'm like, nah. I'm like, yeah, you kind of in some danger when you
Mm-hmm.
start
I
forgiving that.
agree.
That's a way more slippery slope than cheating and shit like
I
that.
agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's why I said,
That's why for me, I've always told every woman that I've dealt with, like, yo, because I've messed with some women that have some anger issues, you know, and some women get mad and they want to start pushing you and hitting you, stuff like that. And I tell every woman, like, yo, don't put your hands on me, because before I go to jail or before I'm willing to hit you, I gotta go,
right.
because I'm not willing, I'm not willing to cross that line. And if I get hurt, like physically hurt, my intention is to hurt back.
Mm-hmm.
I've never hit a woman, and I don't plan on doing it. But I've had that where somebody's hit me or something like that, and I've like been close, like felt that little my fist balled up, some shit like that, and I'm like, nah, I gotta get out of this situation.
Right.
So, like I said, that once you cross that line, I feel like you gonna keep crossing that line.
Good job, nephew.
At least with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. That's what's up. So this it almost sounds like, well, it's so many different tentacles to this whole relationship thing. So we're gonna
Yeah.
dig a little deeper into other aspects of it, because I know the domestic violence part is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's really huge.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
and
worth
I
it.
just want to say it's men out here getting beat by their
Yeah,
wives too, and
definitely.
Oh, hell
whatever
yeah.
doesn't
So,
whatever.
hey, Des,
I
Des,
mean,
blink once if you need help.
Right, blame once.
and that might be something to talk about Raquel, because um
This is rock.
like what nephew was saying about, how we raise our sons, our boys, to not put their hands on girls, but with the girls, with being emotional. And I'll admit, I've been like that too, but it's not cool. If you don't want anybody putting their hands on you, you got to keep your hands to yourself. That's
It's true.
whatever, because you probably said something. Too.
She said you deserved it.
Yo,
You
she said
asked
you
for it.
deserved it, my
You
No,
guy.
asked for
to
it.
the point of saying He deserved to get
Don't
it.
ask if I hit him.
No.
Ask what he did to make me hit him.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we definitely gonna dig into it with that part of it because actually TF and I were having this conversation about that specific thing, the different dynamics of domestic violence in
Mhm.
relationships. So we definitely gonna talk about that and explore some other types of relationships that we can dig a little deeper into.
Okay.
I guess the infidelity thing gonna have to come up, have its own
Yeah.
day.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah, right.
saying? Well,
Hey, Rock. So, you kind of seem like you leaning towards the death doesn't really have to do us part.
I never believe that.
Mhm.
Right.
But like you said, it's about intentionality. So
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
I wouldn't do it if I was planning on getting out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah,
But
but that's just
it's
me.
got to be the one, man. It's got to be the one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
One of them got to be the one.
One of them, right?
One of these gonna be the one. We about to hit up what's on your mind. And before I do that, I wanted to mention. I don't know if you wanted to, if this was gonna be what's on your mind, because if not, then I'll go ahead and mention them.
It
But
was.
okay, go ahead. What's on your
That's on
mind,
my
Des?
mind. Yeah, we have not got enough recognition for the great George Foreman, one of the greatest boxers of all time. 76 wins, 68 by KO, which is never, it's not done. The man was a great fighter, and it's not, he get little blurs. The man made the George Foreman grill,
Mm-hmm.
but he ain't make it, but he promoted the George Foreman grill. He done had a big career, lasting, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
But he was, this man was the oldest winning champion in history. He came out of retirement
Right.
after almost 20-something years and won the title.
Yep.
And ain't nobody talking about him.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a fact.
That's
Yeah,
on my
it's
mind.
crazy.
That was on my mind. And fuck George Clooney.
Yeah. Rest in power, George Foreman, the only George that matters, the only George we know.
only George we acknowledge.
The only one. All right, Renee, what's on your mind?
I don't know what's on my mind this week. Well, this week, I believe today is the end of Ramadan. Um, I thought it was tomorrow because the kids are off, but um, this now, well, being here in Philly, I like to see how these holy days come in for us, which I think is important. The end of Ramadan, that you had Passover, Easter, and these are holy times for a lot of
Yeah.
people. So I really hope that's what's on my mind. I really hope people can find some peace and some solace with their family. Maybe even, kind of atoning for some things if they haven't already in these past couple of weeks. But that's what's on my mind. Just having a peace, and I love to see the kids be excited and everything, and hopefully the adults can follow suit.
Yeah, that's what's up. What is it, Ramadan
Mm-hmm.
Mubarak for those that are celebrating?
Yep.
All right. Izzo, what's going on behind the scenes?
Some a little weird. I feel like in the sports world,
Okay.
I feel like sportscasting has gotten out of sportscasting and into just content.
Mm.
Like we just trying to boost ratings. We're not trying to cover the sport. We're trying to
Yeah.
cover what people will tune in for.
Clickbait.
Fam, there's clickbait. There's so much going on in sports that can be covered. Like the smaller marketing, Cleveland and the NBA has been on a
Right.
tear.
Mhm.
Nobody is really talking about them. The Rockets they've been good.
Wow, really?
Nobody,
But
yeah, they've been good. Nobody's really talking
Newsworthy.
about them. Oh, we're talking about the ESPN. We talking about the Lakers. We talking
Mm.
about Bronny. We're talking about the Cavs. I mean the Cowboys. Bro, the Cowboys haven't been good damn near more than half my life.
A little bit.
True that.
At least playoff good.
This is true.
Why the fuck are we still talking about them?
We should
But
not
Mm.
be.
again, we just talking about we're talking about LeBron. Cool, we talking about LeBron. We should be talking about LeBron. I mean, LeBron is 57 years old, still putting up numbers. But damn, there's so many stories in sports, but all we talking about is the shit that, again, the Cowboys. What the fuck are we talking about the Cowboys for? It's gotten weird, yo. And I feel like the athletes that have gotten into their podcast, their sports podcasts and shit like that, they're actually restoring the feeling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
With their old, when I used to play stories and just talking about the current players and shit like that. I've been enjoying that more than I'm ever enjoying Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless nowadays. Like that shit it's gotten weird, yo.
Got a point.
Yeah.
That's what's been on my mind.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I actually used to listen to NBA radio like regularly all day for when I would take a break from news. And I did notice the conversation start to change from actual sports to personality.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of that in there, but it's like I don't really care like about all that extra stuff. Like how many points did he score? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like it is clickbait, and I know for sure with Stephen A. Smith, that's his thing. Like he don't care. He don't care if you saying good stuff about him, bad stuff about him. Long as you're talking about him, he good.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Like this nigga is beefing with LeBron right now. What are we
right,
doing? Like what?
it's ridiculous. I mean,
Come
even
on, like
to
man.
it's crazy.
ESPN be on Instagram posting like LeBron is taking a trip with a glass of wine. Bro,
Right,
what are we talking about? Dog. It's a game on right now, fam.
right.
Mm.
Come on, bro. So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it has lost something, and maybe it
Yeah.
is good that the athletes are getting into it because I'm gonna be honest. Like even I listened to that podcast that JJ Redick and LeBron did. As far
Mm-hmm.
as just talking basketball, that was a really good podcast. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was strictly basketball, and the
Old man
John
them
football.
three,
Kevin,
yup.
John Kevin, Garnett, and Paul Pierce got good.
Oh yeah,
I
I
that
haven't
one's hit
heard
and
that
miss
one.
for me because
I'm
sometimes
scared of
Paul
Paul
Pierce
Pierce.
be lit and
Yeah, yeah,
Paul
that's what
Pierce
I'm
be
saying.
too lit and it's like, all right, dog, what are you talking
Paul
about,
Pierce
yo?
is questionable.
Yeah, you don't know how sober he gonna
You don't
be.
know if he's gonna have
And like
smokers in the background. Like
facts.
yeah,
It's I think it was Jeff Teague and them. Jeff Teague and them be on one, and those stories are great from when they be playing. But like, yeah, those like keep it sports, man. It's like, what are they doing? I don't understand. Like Stephen A. be on like Heist and that shit and stuff. It's like, all
yeah,
right,
he all over the
it's
place.
clear what you're doing. Yeah, it's clear what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bring the feeling back.
All right, what's on your mind?
All right. So what's on my mind is I actually wanted to revisit something that I actually we did this Spacia podcast yesterday. We recorded it, which will only be available on Patreon, the full episode. So
Shout out
those
to
of
Spasia.
you need to jump on Patreon and become a member there so you can see that. I do want to bring this up just in case some people don't, then you'll never hear my what's on your mind. But this is what's on my mind. I think Donald Trump is a clone.
Mm.
That's what is on my mind. I think he is a robot. I think he is a.
Tell us more.
I think that Elon Musk has created a humanoid robot that looks and acts like Donald Trump, and he's controlling it. And I think that's why he's always with him, just in case he needs to, put the screwdriver to him and fix something if there's a glitch or something.
Oh,
I do not think Donald Trump that is in the White House is actually Donald Trump. I think he's a robot.
all right.
You know what?
And we be having Donald talk about
Everything that's going on, baby.
Right.
I'm waiting for the Wall Street Journal to drop it.
I think before that comes out, we'll all be dead and gone. But I do believe that man is on Epstein Island chilling, and there's a robot in the White House. I do.
That's why he ain't got no piece of his ear missing. They just put a new ear on.
Exactly. It's a whole new ear. A little bit of rubber. What is it? Silicone, whatever. His eyes are black.
Came out of jar.
He ain't real. He ain't real. Y'all pay attention. I guarantee you, the next time you see him, you're gonna be paying it. You're gonna notice. You're gonna notice what I'm noticing. Notice how he move.
Mm-hmm.
Notice his eyes. Just pay attention.
I will.
Just-
Now I'm on my way now. I will.
I'm a prophet. Y'all don't know. I'm trying to
Um,
tell you. But yeah, that's what's on my mind. It stays on my mind. That's it.
It stays on my mind. That's scary, yo. Don't go to sleep thinking about that.
It stays on my mind. You know, that's what's going on. All
mm,
right, y'all. So this has been the Working People's Pod on the Out of the Sand Trap Podcast Network. This is episode 2 of our relationship series. Is marriage till death do us part? We might adjust the title because we had some other things come up in this episode that I think will make really good titles, like George Clooney. So we invite you to like, share, subscribe, visit us on YouTube, freak the algorithm, download if you can, leave us 5-star reviews, visit Patreon, share, help us get our numbers up. And remember, the people closest to the pain should be closest to the power. Peace.
On October 30th, 1974, the Stade du 20 Mai in Kinshasa, Zaire, hosted the iconic Rumble in the Jungle, a match between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. Ali, celebrated for his quick reflexes and charisma, squared off against the dominating Foreman, recognized for his crushing power. Ali surprised everyone with his strategy, the now infamous rope-a-dope, where he leaned on the ropes, absorbing Foreman's powerful punches and relying on his own endurance. By the 8th round, this tactic began to pay dividends as Foreman's energy flagged. Seizing the opportunity, Ali landed a swift right straight, flooring the formidable Foreman. This knockout not only earned Ali the heavyweight title, but also cemented his status as one of boxing's greatest strategists. The Rumble in the Jungle showcased the thrilling unpredictability of boxing, proving to be a masterclass of endurance, patience, and precision.